Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and I'm going to do a quick little project. I've got a little bit of leftover paper from Antarctic, and I'm going to make a Z-fold card. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that real quick to use up some of the scraps. There aren't a lot of scraps left, but there's definitely enough left for some cards. Okay, we are going to start with an 11 by 7 1/4 inch piece of paper. So that's 11 by 7 1/4. Then we're going to score along the 11-inch side at 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Now, we've got our two score lines here. Hopefully you can see that. I know it's difficult. But you can see there's our scores. And it's going to create that Z-fold for us. But the next thing we're going to need to do is cut a strip off this. So right now this is 7 1/4 inches tall. We're going to trim it down to 5 and 2 1/4. So you're going to have 2 strips. So I'm laying it in my trimmer and I'm going to trim it down to 5 by 11. Okay, so that's 5 inches by 11, and this is 2 1/4 by 11. And this is how it came out. Okay, sorry about that. So we've got our 2 pieces, and now we're going to take the 2 1/4 inch strip. We're going to flip it over. We're going to fold back on the score line, and then like this. So when you're finished, you've got what looks like a Z-fold here and a Z-fold here. I'm going to burnish this down so it stays in place. So you Z and then Z. Okay, now this corner is going to get adhered to the card here. We're going to close it, and then this edge is going to get adhered to this flap. And then when you open it, you're going to get this dimension. Okay? All right, so now that we've got that all trimmed out, before we attach it actually to the card base, I want to decorate it. So I'll be right back. Hey everyone, I'm back. I've trimmed out some papers to finish this Z-fold card, and I want to show you what I've done. So this is a fussy cut from the 12 by 12 page. I had this page left over, so I just cut this off from the bottom. Now I fussy cut over the top, and then I've just cut slits on the bottom, and I'm actually going to use that to hang over the edge of this Z-fold. This is a piece of chipboard that I had left over, and then these are just scraps. So I started with this 8 by 8 image, and that's going to be the main body of the 5 by 7 card. So I just trimmed it out to fit this space 5 by 7, and then I split it because I want this to go on this layer and not down here. So I'm going to start by adding this, and I'm not going to ink any of my edges for this card. And this is a pretty easy card, and it's pretty impressive when you get it. I think people enjoy dimensional cards. Okay, so that is in. Now, I know I want this to go on here, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere it here. And then I've just done my typical 1/8 inch border on everything, so that's really a personal preference. If you guys like a larger border, oftentimes I see a little bit larger border on cards, so feel free to do that. And I'm just doing this before I construct the card. I think it's easier because we're going to put something here that's going to go behind this layer. I think it's easier to accomplish that before you construct the album. So down here, I'm just going to put something. It's really pretty much going to be covered by this, but I just don't want a bunch of white space there. So I'm going to put something here. I think I'll go with a lighter color. And then this little square is reserved to go right here, okay? I need to find another square to go here. So when the card is opened, it's going to look like this, pretty much, okay? So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut off. I'll set that aside. This looks like it needs to be trimmed down. Yeah. Just a little bit. Is that right? Yeah, 2 1/8. Is that gonna fit? Yes, it is. Looks like I got a little snag here, so I'm gonna straighten that up real quick. I think it torqued in my trimmer. All right, that's resolved, so let's go ahead and put this down. And then I'm gonna cut another piece that goes right here. 2 inches. So 1 7/8 by 2 1/8. Okay. Okay, so now this is coming together here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a background strip here. So I have to dig around a little bit and find, well, might as well go ahead and decorate this. I've got these set aside. So this is a piece of scrap, and I like the idea that it looks kind of like a moon because I'm going to have this wolf that's howling at the moon. Okay. So just dry fitting to make sure it's going to fit. And then it is a solid image that I've split. Do I need to trim it down? Yeah, it's a little too wide, so I'm going to trim this down. Okay, so that should fit now. Oops, it's still a little too tall. All right, there we go. Okay. This is kind of a fun feature. This could easily be done inside of an album as well. So when you come to the page, you pull on the flap and you get the dimension. And I think I've seen people do that. Okay, our last piece is we need to cover the inside here. And so I'm just going to find a nice light blue to go there. Your eye's not going to be drawn to it if you try to match the landscape. If you leave it white, your eye's going to want to, it's going to be pulled behind the image, trying to figure out why there's all that white space. So I'm just flipping through, and as you can see, here's my scraps. I think I wound up with 3 complete 12 by 12s that were left over from the album. And then 1. Hey guys, I'm back. I got interrupted. My husband called me on the phone, and I'm recording with my phone, so it made a brief stop. So I was in the middle of telling you that I had 3 12 by 12 sheets left, plus the cover, which is full of cut aparts on the back. And then I think I had 1, 2, 3 8 by 8s left. Less now because I just used one to do this. So you will have enough to make a few cards. Anyways, so I went up, while I was away, I found this, which is kind of a muted background. It doesn't match it perfectly, but it's definitely going to keep your eye from trying to climb behind the dimensional element to see what's going on behind it. So I'm going to put that in place. And it was just a scrap. I think it's a scrap from a 12 by 12, but it doesn't really matter. It just needs to be light blue, I think. And then now we're ready to layer this on top. So it's going to go, so you've got your Z on this end and then your Z on this end. So this is going to get adhered like so, and then this square, just this square, is going to get attached here. And that's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down this edge. I was just trying to think through what I'm doing. So I'm going to lay it down. Right there. Like so. Okay, we'll let that dry. And then the next thing is we're going to close this, lay it down, and then we're going to adhere this part. Okay, close it, lay this down, and smash everything into place. And see, now you see that continuous pattern there. Okay, I'm going to hold that for a second, let it dry, and there we go. Isn't that exciting? Now this is the chipboard piece that I'm going to put over here, kind of by the moon, where he's howling at the moon. I did ink the edges on this piece of chipboard. You don't have to. And if you've used your chipboard inside your album, then you'll probably be able to find some animal that you can cut apart and use as a design element. So I'm going to put them right about here. And there's our moon in the background. I think that looks awesome. And then this is the cut apart I told you. So I cut the top out, fussy cut the top out, then I went around his paws, and I want to leave this piece of paper down here because I'm going to put glue on this, and we are going to tuck the back behind it, and that's how it's going to stay adhered to this right here. So now we just have to decide, where do we want this little guy, how far over, or how close to the mama bear. And I think I kind of want it over here. So I'm going to put glue down here, and that's what's going to hold it in place. Okay, and you can see his little paws just peeking over, and I think that is adorable. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue behind this paw. Hold everything in place. Okay. So there we go. There is most of our card. Now I'm going to add some additional elements. And again, the finished card is 5x7. So I found this, and I think I kind of like it. So I think I'm going to use this right down here. It's a little bit bigger than I want it to be. That'll work. So it's going to be slightly tucked behind this element. Okay, you can cardstock back this, but just for speed, I'm going to go ahead and lay it down as it is. But if you guys want to put a matted piece of cardstock behind it, I think that would look lovely as well. Okay, now I'm going to look and see if I can find something that I might be able to put in the sky here that looks appropriate. So I'm going through my cut aparts and my chipboards. See if there's something interesting that would just add a little more zest. Now this is a piece, it doesn't really go with the animal here, but I like that it's creating some level of contrast behind the puppy or the cub, whatever they're called. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add it. It's really, the other thing is we've got this igloo that we could put somewhere, but I think I like the landscape better than the igloo. So, okay, so I'm leaning on adding this behind the puppy just to add that additional piece of contrast and really make that pop. I keep saying puppy, but I think you guys all know what I mean. I'm going to stand it sideways so I can get a better look at it before. Okay, there we go. Lay it down, press it into place. And I like that it's just adding a little more oomph. Okay, let's see if there's anything else we can cut apart or add to make it a little more interesting. I still have some of these cut aparts from the card. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut this out and put them right here. Let's see how that looks. Before I put too much effort into it, I want to see what it looks like. I'm not sure I'm crazy about that. I think I like the little guys better, so I'm going to leave the mama out, maybe just see if I can't work with. I think part of my problem is I don't like the scale. Sorry, you're just looking at the top of my head, I'm sure. I like it. I'm going to put them down there. Okay, they kind of disappear when you open it, but that's okay. I like them when it's closed. Looking good. Okay, now we have some of these circles. I don't know if I want to add any more there. That's too small. It feels like the sky is crying for something. I just don't know what. I don't like that either. All right, well, you guys get the gist of it. That is pretty much it. There's our Z-fold card. I've added a piece of chipboard. This is cut apart from the collection pack, and then this is fussy cut from one of the small cards. And then there's another piece of chipboard. So that is our Z-fold card. Isn't that pretty? You can put your sentiments here, here, and even up here. And like I said, you can use these features inside your albums. You could easily feature, first of all, you could make this strip smaller. And if you did, then more of this would be revealed. And you could have your personal photo there. I would move it over to the side so that when you open the dimension, you get this shadow effect. I just think it's a great idea. So I think I might even try to incorporate something like this into one of my albums soon. I might enlarge the scale. I would probably make this a smaller, so you still can adhere things to it, but you have more. This is 5x7. Maybe if it was 7x7 would be an ideal size. Anyways, I thought you guys might enjoy this, so I wanted to put one together for you and show you how you can use your scraps. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is Daphne from Scrap and Create, and this is a little card bonus for Arctic Antarctic. Thank you.